again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sci-Fi Model Action. Well, we're back to work on the Seaview again, and some of you guys will recognize this. This is the actual conning tower or sail area of the model. And what we're going to be doing today is working on these navigation lights and getting those installed. I'll have the red going in here on the port side and the green on the starboard. These are 3mm LEDs. They're really small bulbs, and I've got to get those installed in there and make sure we're going to clear and everything. And then I'm trying to work out whether I can do any kind of lighting up here at the top inside the conning tower. I might try to work a small red bulb in there as well to get some lighting effect if I go to the emergency lighting, and that'll give it a little bit more detail. So I'll see if I can fit the bulb in there or not. Right now I want to work on getting these navigation lights installed on the side. There's nowhere actually a prescribed place on the model here. I see most of the people are mounting them right here below the dive plane here on the conning tower, so that's what I'm going to go with. I've got my drill press all set up here and ready to go, so without further ado, let's get to work on that. Okay, we got a nice clean hole on that one. I'm just kind of going by eyeball here. I'm just going off this corner just a little bit, and I think that's going to look pretty good. Kind of taking a glance at the other one here. I think that's about right. Okay. They look to be reasonably in the same place. So what I'm going to be doing now is seeing how my bulbs will fit in here. Now hopefully this hole's probably going to be slightly too small like I figured, so I'm going to have to step up to the next drill bit size. But I've got the primary hole done, and what I'm going to do now is I'll get that hole drilled out to the right size, get that bulb fitting in there nice and tight, and I'll be back and I'll show you how we're going to get this all wired up. Be right back. Okay guys, we're back, and I've got these LEDs fitted in here now, and I'll explain to you really quick what I did. I drilled the holes out just the right size for these 3mm bulbs, and if you can see, I've got them mounted just about flush on there, so they barely stick up, so they'll kind of stay looking reasonably in scale. And I used some hot glue to hold those in place with this little hot glue gun here. That works really good for this kind of work, and so that's worked out pretty well. Now they're going to clear nice when I put this together. Of course, I'll have to protect the wires and all that, and what I'm going to do is I completely covered the back side of these bulbs with the glue, so when I spray my black primer inside here for my light blocking, I'm going to cover those up, and we shouldn't get any green or red bleed through from the lights on the inside of the model. And what I came up with for the red lighting here at the top of the conning tower inside the cockpit here is that there's really not that much room unless I used fiber optics or something like that, and they would just be small pins of light. And what I want to do is kind of have a general red glow in this area here if I decide to turn that red lighting on. So what I decided to do is I'm going to mask off this area here of the model from the back side, and then paint all the rest of this black, and so just the cockpit will be bare plastic. And I've came up with this little bracket that I made out of styrene here. It's just a 90-degree bend with a red 5mm bulb installed, and basically what that's going to do is be mounted right here inside the sail area or the conning tower area. And when this upper part is put in place, this bulb will be aimed right at the bottom side of this plastic here, and this will give a nice red glow inside that plastic, and it'll light up the inside of our little cockpit there. And we won't have a big old lights sticking out somewhere inside there. It'll kind of look a little bit more realistic. And then once you get that done and put all the little accessories that go in there, the controls and all that, the binnacle and a couple other things, part of the periscope that goes in there, that's going to add a lot of detail to that. So that worked out pretty good. What I'll do is I'm going to spray all this down with black first, and then attach this bracket so we don't get any bleed through coming through the sides, and I'll just use some more hot glue to put that on. So I'm going to work on that right now. I'll come back and show you what that looks like all finished up. Be right back. Okay everybody, I'm back from the paint booth, and I've got my light blocking flat black applied on the back side of these now, and I've completely covered up the back side of those bulbs on both sides. And you can see I've got my little bracket there installed and hot glued in place to hold the red LED. So the idea now is going to be, let me show you this piece real quick. I've masked this piece off on the bottom here and just left the cockpit area unpainted on the bottom side. and the rest light block. So hopefully my red light's going to shine through. The idea here is that this sits right on top. The bulb is not quite touching it. I didn't want to have a hot spot there. So hopefully when this is lit up, we're going to get a nice red glowing effect underneath of there. And what I'm going to do is, I didn't put a resistor on this yet, because what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hook this up and start doing a little bit of testing on it and get just the right amount of brightness in there, and then I'm going to consider it a done deal, and we can get this assembly put together. I think I'm going to get a little bonus effect here too. These nice windows here at the front of the conning tower, these clear parts, are going to light up in that red. That red should give a little bit of glow through there, and maybe I'll frost those a little bit or something like that to diffuse them. But that's going to be an extra little bonus, and you can see we've got our lights are nice and flush there on the sides. They don't stick out too far. So what I'll do real quick is wire this up and kind of mock it up real fast and show you what we're looking like with the lighting. Be right back. Okay guys, I'm back, and I wanted to show you before I close this up, I've got some of the wiring done here. Now what I've done is experimented around a little bit with a resistor there, and I've got the right one that I needed to. I'm using one resistor to power the red nav light on the port side, and this little red emergency light at the top, and another one, a separate one, to power the green light. And wanted to explain a little bit. I've got two separate ground wires here, and the reason I'm doing that is that I'm going to be controlling this emergency lighting circuit on a different switch. I'm going to use the switch to interrupt the ground on that circuit, and that's how I can turn it off and on. And I want to be able to run my navigation lights all the time, along with the standard white lighting at the front. So they will always remain on as long as that switch is on, but I'll be able to shut this red emergency light off and on, along with the missile launch light and our red lighting that I showed you earlier that's going to go in the front of the observation deck. So that's how we're going to control all that. So what I'll do now is I'll seal this up, and we're going to do a little test lighting session on that, and we'll show you what it looks like. Be right back. So here we are, we're back. It's just been a few minutes, and I've kind of just rigged this thing up and propped it up with some tape, and just to give you guys a look at how the lighting looks on this, it's turned out pretty well. You can see we've got our red light here on the port side, and over on the starboard we've got our green. And we've got that nice red glow coming through at the top in the cockpit area. It looks a little hot there in the center on the camera, but that's just the camera doing that. In person I'm seeing a really nice even red glow coming up into that cockpit. And keep in mind as well that there's some white paint that's going to be sprayed down in there. The color of the cockpit's supposed to be an off-white. And then there's some instruments that go in there that'll kind of break all that up. And that's going to really look cool when it's all put together. I'll turn the light off real quick so you can see our lighting effect. And you can see we've got our red and our green lights. And we're getting that nice red coming through the windows there at the front too. And once those lenses are all installed, that's really going to look nice and even. So that's a big step in the process of getting this knocked out. And it came out pretty great. I'm pretty happy with it. So just another little technique there as far as you can go through that plastic without painting it, and that's something to think of when you're trying to light an area or something like that. And, you know, you can always try your own experiments and things like that. That's what makes this modeling so much fun. So anyway, we're coming along good. We're going to get into the next video is going to show some wiring done on the rear. We're going to light the tail fin, the little tips, the light tips at the end of the tail fins on this. And then we've got to wire in our missile launch lighting. And then we'll be moving on to getting into the major assembly of the hull. So things are coming along pretty good. I hope you guys are enjoying this and finding something useful out of it. And so that's it for today. I'll come back with the next one in a few days, and we'll be doing some more lighting on the rear end of the ship. So I hope you guys are enjoying this, and until I see you next time, everyone, happy modeling, you guys.